right, a beautiful afternoon. You're welcome to your favorite social media program, The Buzz. I am Rose Blossom Moye. And of course, as usual, this is when we talk about the state and affairs of the country. And of course, we'll be having our call-ins and SMS is very welcome today. We have our phone lines up. Okay, Emmanuel, please help us put the number, the studio line below the screen. TV is for calling and SMS, so we could have our viewers be part of the show. As usual, we'll have our very regular special Wednesday guest. I'll start from my left is Nuruddin Adegbenro. Of course, he's a senior lecturer and a senior journalist. Welcome to the show, sir. It's good to have you.
Good afternoon, Blossom, and good afternoon to all our viewers.
All right, and of course we have Segun Sopiton, who is a business and financial consultant, also the chairman of Bold Act Network. Welcome to the show, sir. It's good to have you.
Always a pleasure to be here. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Good afternoon, viewers.
All right, so let's get in. Like I said, when you call in or when you send an SMS to the studio line that would be displayed pretty soon, please make sure you indicate your name and where you're calling from or you're texting from before you go into your suggestion or whatever you want to say. Okay, so we're going to start first with Nafdac boss seeking death penalty for fake drug dealers. Now, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has proposed the death penalty for drug peddlers. Now, the Director General of the agency, Mojisola Adeyeye, made this call while speaking at a interview. She urged that only strict penalties would deter drug peddlers, especially when their actions result in the death of children. The Nafdac boss also called for the cooperation of the judiciary and the National Assembly to make the proposal a reality. According to her, the agency is open to working with lawmakers and other stakeholders on the matter. She says, and I quote, "Our judiciary system must be strong enough. We are working with the National Assembly to make our penalties much stiffer. But if you kill a child with bad medicine, you deserve to die." Now, that is the word. Well, when I heard this, I was like, okay, this is good. And we've talked about erasing the death penalty from the judiciary system, like instead of having that. Okay, I think it was just Ayan Shobuton here where we discussed about that, and we said if we erase that penalty, a lot of crime in fact would increase, and those crime would definitely increase. So National Assembly trying to pass that is not advisable. But now we having the Nafdac boss says that of course we know this is about health, and trust me, when you take a particular drug over a period of time and it's a fake drug, it will affect your health, and if you do not have health issues before, you could start having a health condition, and that could lead to early death, which is very important. So, but what should take Nuruddin about this death penalty for fake drug peddlers? Is that the way?
Well, if somebody has to look it from the angle where Professor Mojisola is coming from, you will understand that they are merchant of death. Anybody that is producing, dealing, being an agent where fake drugs is being put to the people and people are consuming it, you are the only difference between you and armed robber is this. In fact, you kill more than armed robber. Because armed robber will only face one person, two person, three person, maximum 50. But with fake drugs, you can kill millions of people at a particular time. Especially if you look at the number of raids that Nafdac has embarked on from Lagos here, go to Idumota, you will see the open drug stores that have been sealed up because they are filled with a lot of fake drugs, and people are consuming it. People are general hospital, state hospital, university teaching hospital, private hospital. One thing is to think that this drug is going to really give succor to you, and you are buying your death. From Anambra down to Onisha, down to Kano, down to Jigawa, fake drugs everywhere. But where Professor needs to talk on, he talked about the issue of the judiciary. Look, at times, who are those prosecuting these people? Are they being given money? Because When you bring a bad case to a judge will not, and you don't have significant evidence, there is nothing he's going to do. It's not on sentiment, it's going to be on fact. And that is the thing. Why are those people prosecuting them? Then another one again is this. Who are the immigrations? Where are they? Across all our borders, I know our land borders. Even if you like, we should go and import more people to man our borders. Land borders that we have, a lot of checkpoints that, in fact, they are unofficial. If you rent anything from Jigawa and Co to Castina to Yobe to Maiduguri, you will discover that our land border, don't let us talk about Idiroko, because the only one they have is Idiroko border. That is the only one. But from that axis, are we talking about the one in the Kolaje sharp corner? Are you talking about Jesha Lodge down to Majemule? Even from a lateral angle, so you will discover that we have a lot of things to do, because we have to checkmate. If they are not producing these fake drugs in Nigeria, who is bringing it in here? Who is bringing them in? From where? So all those things is what, and we need to take care of these drugs very well. There are a lot of people that are dying not because of the diseases they have, but because of these fake drugs. So I align with her. They should, if you can kill people in that particular manner, you are marshaled of death, and you must be killed too by the law. So, and that is the thing. But my problem is just there is this: if you want to turn that one into death penalty, do you know a lot of things we are going to turn into penalty? The way drugs kills, that is the same way corruption kills. They kill the multitudes. So automatically we should turn the one of corruption into death. So you have a lot of things to even turn into sabotage. If our military cannot fight all these Boko Harams or whatever, they sabotage somewhere, that kind of person that is allowing through sabotaging the effort of the military, then people are being killed. He also deserves to be killed. So by the time we look at the bottom of these drugs, I totally agree with that anybody about the problem there is this. You need all those treaties that we've signed, that we are going to abolish death penalty, is creating more problem for us. Especially somebody will come to my home, kill members of the family. You will be sentenced to life imprisonment. Somebody will come, give parole, and it's going to be out. And you now see somebody that killed your loved ones. How are you going to feel?
Okay, well, this is very deep. Okay, Shobizo, I want to ask from the aspect of, he said a lot of things. Of course, you respond to both the death penalty for the fake drug peddlers. But another thing is, do you think that the Nafdac boss or Nafdac itself is trying to evade the fact that they are probably not doing their job rightly? They are probably not doing what they are supposed to do, because they are supposed to be in control of managing this aspect of drugs and everything. Are they trying to even put out their weak points out there and trying to call for help from the judiciary system so that they can also be able to work hand in hand? Or it's just something that they just want a better efficiency to be able to, erase all these fake drug peddlers permanently?
There's only so much that one agency can do.
Okay.
The country is 230 million plus people, spread across almost a million square meters, square kilometers of land. Nigeria is big. I think, besides the Democratic Republic of Congo, I think Libya, it's about the fourth or fifth largest country in Africa by landmass. So it's a lot of territory to cover by any agency. So I wouldn't say NAFDAC can't be in every market. NAFDAC can't be in every backyard where people are doing their atrocities. At the end of the day, the only way to stop these things is twofold. Is having strong systems that can monitor and prevent these things from happening, making sure there are checkpoints and gates along the way from, so in those markets, who's responsible for regulating the activities of the people there? The market itself, they have associations. How do they oversee and ensure that criminal activities don't take place in those places? Do they have CCTV cameras? So there's a lot that goes into this. As a country, do we have a culture of security, of looking out for your brother, your neighbor, ensuring that your neighbors are not involved in anything funny? Abroad, they don't talk to each other. They will just see you and do as if they didn't see you. Just start having one funny repeated type
Yeah.
of activity.
Make a
Police
call.
will visit you.
Of course.
Somebody will just call and say, there's some guy there who I don't understand. He's always coming out at night, or he's always sleeping in the day.
Somebody looks weird to them.
Yes, once there's a pattern of irregularity,
Yeah.
somebody's going to call someone. So we don't even have that culture here. Nobody cares. So Nafdac can't do it all, and that's why she's calling out for help.
Okay.
The judiciary, the legislature, policy framework, it's a lot that has to go hand in hand. Nigeria, we know there's a culture of impunity. So how do you, when the legislators that are being called upon and the judiciary officers that are being called upon are also involved in all sorts of sharp practices that we all know about. So why would anybody not also do what they need to do? So I think we have a long way to go as a country. The death penalty for fake drug peddlers, I don't necessarily disagree.
Okay.
I think that the death penalty, for me, I was saying it during the last show.
Yeah.
In as much as I lean towards saying it doesn't serve as a deterrence. But sometimes punishment is not only as a deterrence. Punishment is for justice.
Yeah. And justice needs to be served.
Yeah, so even if it doesn't deter the next person, at least the people that their children died, that their mothers and, sick, aged people died, that young, able-bodied people who use fake drugs and died.
Yeah.
The families of those people, if they know that this person was the person responsible for the death of my person and he has been put to death, the sense of justice alone, you can argue, is enough for me to know that, okay, well, he did evil and he has been punished. So whether that stops the next person from still doing it is a different conversation.
Okay.
So for me, from that perspective, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with her. But I think that any time that we talk about the death sentence for any other crime, we must, in that same conversation, talk about the death sentence for high corruption. If you do not implement death sentence for people that are stealing 51 billion, that's mentioning their names. You know them. If you don't say that, if Better is convicted,
right,
she should go to jail or she should be sentenced to death, then we have not started. But a situation where somebody, we know the person's name, we know their face, we know where they live. They are accused of stealing billions.
And they are Nigerians.
Billions. So do you know how much 1 billion naira can do in terms of the size of hospital or school? Forget school. School at least doesn't lead to death.
Hospital,
But the roads that people at night, no street lights, they run into a ditch, their car tumbles, they all die. Or the road, there's a truck broken down, no street light or bad road, I hit the pothole, the car flies, hits the trailer, bursts into flame. Or the hospital where they actually lie patients outside the hallway because there's no space or there are no doctors. And it's because somebody stole that money. If you do not sentence that person that stole that money to death, you can't sentence anybody else to death in this country. So for me, it's if we want to do it, let's do it. I know that in this country, there's consequence for bad behavior. If we're not going to do it, let's not do it at all.
Let's not do it at all.
Because one thing there is that if you look at the ranges of impunity in our system, and look at those people that think they are above the law in Nigeria, do you know the number of governors, former governors that are on trial? Being on trial, some have used 12 years in the Senate, and they are still on trial. Some have even used 20 years.
Some have been to prison.
And they are still in that Senate. Technically, they are in prison, but they are in the Senate. And you know the number. How come that the trial that has to do with big men in Nigeria always take longer time? And the one of the poor is sharp.
Immediately.
And that is the reason why, if you have that kind of system, it's going to be very difficult for us to push for death sentence to this kind of thing. Although it's killing, we all agree. But what of the others? Because what we want to do is justice. And when you want to do justice, you have to look at the other things. You want to talk about a particular politician that's supposed to build a hospital, and that hospital was built only in the book. And billions of naira has gone away. Or did you want to talk about somebody that built road only on paper, and that road did not materialize? Are you talking about somebody that said he wants to empower taking 5 million out of poverty, and that particular poverty did not leave paper? And those kind of people are living big. Or do you want to talk about politicians that take all Nigerian money, go to abroad and have different apartments and be collecting rent from those people using it, Are you talking about the road that we're supposed to get, we didn't get, or light we're supposed to, or infrastructure that we're supposed to get, or the schools that we're supposed to? Did you know the lot of children that have died as a result of high corruption we are talking about? So by the time we put on template that, okay, we want to do justice, other things should go in coefficient with what we are talking about. In that case, there are a lot of people that need to have been killed in Nigeria, and they are living life.
Okay, you know, Shopita, you said something last week where you mentioned that if they should impute, if they should put in corruption as one of death penalty as one of the things that corruption as one of the things that if you do it, you will end up getting the death penalty. Now the point is, we believe from all our discussion is that when it gets to that point, and we know that, okay, corruption, if you have corruption, if you actually partake of it, you're going to result to dying. Don't you think that will make even the people who are the main causes of those corruption now put in other persons to step in for them, and they become, they take the death penalty? Now, it will not be their name, it will not be their face, but people will be paid to step in and say, oh, it's my fault, I was the one that did the corruption, and the other corporates just keeps living life.
You know that there's nobody that wants to die. Even the poor people.
Poverty is a very big
I agree, but let me tell you, one of the things there is this. You know, there are some poor people too that engage into all these poverty too, corruptions too. But one thing that is so certain there is this: if you start from the top, look. If you see a woman beating her kid mercilessly, if you want to keep your own kid with that kind of woman, what are you going to tell your woman? Come, that woman, no send. You do anyhow, you get anyhow. If you see the way she's beating, the same way. If you start from the top, look, the branches of, we know we have branches of corruption, but the root of corruption is always from the personality, politicians, wealthy people. The sense they are using to steal our money, if they use the same sense to fight corruption in Nigeria, I'm telling you, it's going to be thing of the past. Look at the issue of corruption and the issue of drugs that we're talking about in Saudi Arabia. That is one of the most wealthiest nations in the world. They see you with talk less of fake drugs that is not permissible by law. You are gone. Did you see corruption there? United Arab Emirates. When people see they want to come, you take drugs there, they put you to court, it will not last for 1 month before they do all those things. So when people can commit other crime, they would rather leave that one because it has to do. Did you think poor people who want to die for irrespective of the level of poverty? I'm telling you, but what is important there is that these wealthy people, those people that know they are going to be found wanting, they are the one fighting and making sure that it's not coming to being. Okay. And we cannot go anywhere in Nigeria if we don't fight this corruption. Because just like former president Muhammad Buhari stated that if you don't kill corruption, corruption will kill. Although during his own time he failed to kill corruption too. But at least let us use his words. Don't let us mind the messenger. Let's look at the message. That if you don't kill corruption, Nigeria is going nowhere. Do you know that the corruption that is perpetrated today is even more than the last administration we are talking about? So if we go in this way, that means another administration will come. It's going to even still worse than the one we have. If we continue in this, I'm telling you, you see the fake drugs we are talking about. Can poor people produce fake drugs?
Right.
No, can poor people. The only thing that I know poor people can do, hands and lips. That is the only thing they can do. They are going to go and have factory that will produce fake drugs, fake paracetamol and whatever. Poor people.
Where's the funding? Okay, all right. Anyways, we'll be having a lot of calls. You can still call in. Of course, after when we take this video, we'll start picking calls and responding to text message. Yes, you can be part of the show. Like I said, if you call in or you send in an SMS, make sure you first indicate your name and where you're calling from. And of course, you can go ahead to state your fact.